Hello, I'm Mario Sada. This is my Aicole final project. I choose history area for ESO level, and then is the Industrial Revolution. I studied history in my degree, and I choose STEM for because I think it's very important to the students. The first activity will be done individually. To begin with, the teacher will explain what was the revolution, what it was like, how society was before, and how it changed as a result of this movement. Each student will search on internet additional information about it and will point it out in a schematic way. This activity has part on listening and reading. The subject objectives are know the meaning of industrial revolution, know what the pre-industrial society was like, understand where and when the process of industrialization began, know where the industrial revolution extended to, know the consequences of industrial revolution, know the forms of life in the industrial city, know the living conditions of the proletariat, and finally understand ideologies and the labor movement. The activities objectives are encourage attention in students, develop the ability to search on web in different media, etc. Encourage synthesis, encourage the abstraction of relevant information, and the basic competencies are ICT competence, cultural and artistic competence, competence in linguistic communication, mathematical competence, and finally learning to learn. The second activity I chose divide the class in working groups. Each of these, using the scheme made in the previous activity, should make a chronological line explaining with graphs, dates, and small descriptions the most important event of the Industrial Revolution. This activity has part of listening and writing also, and the subject objectives are know the meaning of industrial revolution, understand where and when the process of industrialization began, know where the industrial revolution extended to, and finally know the consequences of industrial revolution. Are the same of previous activity. The activity objectives are promote teamwork. This is very important. Encourage cooperation between members of the group, increase the capacity of synthesis, and encourage oral and creative expression. The basic competences are cultural and artistic competence, learning to learn, competence in linguistic communication, mathematical competence, competence in social skills and citizenship, and finally autonomy and personal initiative. The third activity will continue with the same working groups. From here, they will have to expose everything they know about the Industrial Revolution, explaining with drawing states, events, economic and social consequences, and has a part of listening and writing. Now, the meaning of the subject. Sorry. Now the subject objectives are know the meaning of industrial revolution, know what the pre-industrial society was like, understand where and when the process of industrialization began, know where the industrial revolution extended to, now the consequences of industrial revolution, now the forms of life in industrial city, now the living conditions of the proletariat, understand ideologies and labor movement, and the activity objectives are encourage oral and expression and creative expression, promote teamwork, encourage cooperation between members of the group. In this activity, the basic competencies are cultural and artistic competence, learning to learn, competence in linguistic communication, mathematical competence, competence in social skills and citizenship, autonomy, and personal initiative. In the first activity, each working group will explain its work to the rest of the classroom. In this activity, the student will explain the Industrial Revolution. The subject objectives are know the meaning of Industrial Revolution, know what the pre-industrial society was like, understand where and when the process of Industrial Revolution extended to, now the consequences of Industrial Revolution, now the forms of life in the industrial city, now the living conditions of the proletariat, understand ideologies and the labor movement. The activity objectives are encourage oral expression, increase the capacity of expression in public, promote teamwork, and finally encourage cooperation between members of the group. Basic competencies are cultural and artistic competence, learning to learn, competence in linguistic communication, and finally mathematical competence. The fifth activity will do a writing test on subject covered during all the activities as final evaluation. This activity has part of writing. The objectives of subject and activity are know the meaning of Industrial Revolution, know what the pre-industrial society was like, understand where and when the process of industrialization began, know where the Industrial Revolution extended to, know the consequences of Industrial Revolution, know the forms of life in the industrial city, know the living conditions of the proletariat, and finally understand ideologies and the labor movement. Basic competences in this activity are cultural and artistic competence, learning to learn, competence in linguistic communication, and mathematical competence. Contents to work during the session: the Industrial Revolution from Great Britain to the rest of Europe. Beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the estimating. The Industrial Revolution in Spain. The discussion about the characteristics of industrialization in Spain, success or failure. The basic competences during these sessions are all the basic competences established in the curriculum: artistic competence, cultural and artistic competence, competence in linguistic communication, mathematical competence, learning to learn, competence in social skills and citizenship, autonomy, and personal initiative. The evaluation of this session, I choose a different score will be done as follows: 1 never, 2 sometimes, 3 almost always, and 4 always. This is my particular rubric, and I think this is a good method to evaluation to the different students. Bye.